There we go. You guys can hear me now. All right, guys. This has been the craziest setup. But I promise, I promise. Hold on. Let me get in front of the camera here. Hold on. All right, guys. So Sterling's Uber driver took him to the wrong place. And so he is on his way over now. Everybody sit tight. We'll get started shortly. Hot. Yeah, I'll sit here. You can sit there. That's fine. All right. So let me go grab my phone. So I'll be following on.
Oh, you're following the chat on your phone. Nice.
Yeah. All right, very nice. Okay. All right, everybody. Okay, we finally got him here.
Right hotel.
Aye. So, Sterling, your Uber driver took you to the wrong hotel. You told me, guess what the gender of the, and of course this is going to be kind of ghetto because I forgot my second XLR cable, so we're going to switch back and forth with the mic. How was your trip?
Lovely.
Good, very good. Here.
But yeah, I said, guess what the gender of the taxi driver was when I met you in the hallway. So yeah, and I also recognized this this hotel when I walked into the lobby. I didn't recognize the name when you told me the name, and then as soon as I walked in the lobby, I realized actually during last time I did an AVN, which was like 5 years ago now, I shot porn in the penthouse of this hotel.
I like that you actually said it because I was going to say, have you had previous employment in this hotel? You guys know how this goes. All right, guys. Listen, thank you guys very much for your patience. It was crazy getting this thing set up, but I am here with my good friend Sterling Cooper, retired porn star extraordinaire. So I haven't seen you in a while. I think I can't remember the last time I see. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years ago. So talk to me about what's happened in your life since the last time we saw you.
It'd be so gay if I just said nothing. So lame. Super lame. Because I think the last time I saw you would have been the Conference of Masculine Excellence that you did in Miami. After that, I still spend like I decided to switch spending full time in America, and I spend half my time in Europe and half my time here. So I've been hanging out in Spain for the last year and a half, half time there, half time here, and yeah, I've always wanted to live in Europe on European soil for a while, and I've been doing a lot of traveling around Europe, seeing that. Did like this year, for example, I did a big car rally with a bunch of my friends. We drove from Spain through France, through Italy, up through Switzerland, Austria, and into Czech Republic. It was badass, super. I'll show you some footage in a minute. It's sick. And then I also took my dad on like a 6 week lads trip together, just me and him.
Cool.
Yeah, we went through like England and caught up with some old we made some like connections in Ireland to like family that we think is 100 this is a bit of a segue, but last year I went to Ireland with my uncle and my auntie. Thought my dad was going to be out there with us. Unfortunately, my dad ended up getting diagnosed with prostate cancer, which he has since beaten.
Oh, good. Okay.
Which is badass. But when we were out there, we were in this little town in Ireland, and we basically traced our family history, like 180 years of family history, back to this town.
Yeah.
And we went and walked around this neighborhood, like looking for a bit more evidence, because like the genealogist said like, oh, that neighborhood there is kind of where your family's been for 200 years. And my uncle, being the cheeky bastard he is, went knocking on doors and got like this old lady to like walk us around the neighborhood. Wow. Ended up introducing us to this family, which we think is actually related to us. From my ancestor 180 years ago, his is like a brother or whatever of their like granduncle or whatever.
Are they related to you?
Well, I'm doing a Y-DNA chromosomal test now, and so is the oldest brother.
Wow.
So we can actually see, yeah.
Here's the question: does anyone else in your family involved in your former line of work, or is that just something you did?
No, it's just me.
Okay. Now, I think we've had this conversation.
The black sheep, right?
Yes, the black sheep of the family. So you have often said that we talk a lot about relationships and family. You've told me and other people that you want multiple wives. You want to build like a legacy. You want to build like a stable of children. How do you feel about that now?
Well, it's kind of ironic. I'm not so much on the multiple wives train anymore. I'm still on the giant family train.
Okay.
I'm actually engaged now. I actually have a fiance, oddly enough. So.
Wait, hold on. Stop. So check this out, guys. Here, I found this out today. And actually, I'm going to have to text him to find out if I can tell anybody, but it's excellent news. But you are engaged? Are you serious? Yeah. Who's the lucky lady?
I'm not telling anyone on the internet that.
How do you feel about being... Well,
there's way too many weirdos on the internet.
Congratulations, man. I had no idea. That's unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Okay, so talk us through the process of becoming engaged. How did you meet her? When did you guys decide to become like? Tell me the story. This is taking a turn that I did not expect.
It's a bit. Yeah, I've gone from like I shot porn in this penthouse. I'm good. You know what's kind of funny? So I know she's going to watch this, and I know her family watches like my shorts and my reels too to like critique them. So what actually ended up happening was her younger brother, who's like 18, he was a fan of like, he followed my stuff, like Justin's stuff, Andrew and Tristan's stuff, and he would send his older sister, like my reels, just as like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And then she eventually followed me on Instagram. And so I followed her back. She was cute. I slid in her DMs, and then we met up and stuff. She's American. We met up and stuff, and then yeah. There actually are good American women, despite what people think.
Where did you find such a unicorn? Like, where is
she's a bit of a unicorn though. I was vetting to be honest, I was trying to find like wifey material because I want to have a family, right? And I had a pretty strict set of criteria. And I honestly, I'd been looking for like a year and a half. Like, that's kind of one of the things that pushed me into Europe. I was like, I wasn't really having much luck in Miami. That's for damn sure. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll find something in Europe. Maybe I'll find a girl in England. Maybe I'll find a girl in like, I don't know, somewhere in Central Europe or something. Didn't. Magically, when I was back in America last year, stumbled across it. And yeah, she sort of met all this criteria for me, which was basically like one of the big ones was like not taking the COVID jab. That was a big one for me. Okay. Wanting to be a mother. She's being highly intelligent, being very right wing. Okay. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. She obviously watched my content a lot, so she was kind of already, like she kind of agreed with everything I was saying. Hang on.
Has she seen your other content?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she's fully aware of that. Okay. And unfortunately, her father is fully aware of that too. So that made for like a bit of an interesting conversation when I met him the first time. The guy wanted to like kill me. I could tell. It was quite interesting.
His daughter is engaged to a former porn star. Wow.
And you know what? Like she doesn't get shit. She doesn't actually get shit for it. Her younger brother gets shit for it. Really? Yeah, it's kind of fun because all of her younger brother's friends all know who I am too. She's like, oh, your sister's engaged to Sterling Cooper. Like they take the piss out of him for it. Wow. I feel sorry for the guy. Kind of,
but not really. Okay. Yeah. So you guys are engaged. Is there a wedding date at this point? Not yet. Okay, no wedding date yet for Sterling Cooper. So Lady C is technically. Oh nope, never mind. He's not available if the fiance is watching. I'm just kidding.
I don't think she would. If she's actually, if you're smart, you're not going to drop into the chat because then people can follow you.
Yes, exactly. Oh yes, stay out of the chat. We have internet sleuths. How's Justin been doing, man?
Good man. I was actually just in Miami hanging out with him. Yeah. Him and his missus. His two little daughters are going fantastic. They're doing great. He just bought a fucking badass penthouse in we were previously like the apartment we shared was in Midtown. It's like sort of north of that. It's like around the corner from Grant Cardone's office. It's so G. Miami. Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. It's got its own like what do you call it? Like docking space for a boat.
He's got a fucking parking lot for his boat.
Completely, yeah. That's the correct way of saying it. He's got a parking spot for a yacht. So he's balling. It's great.
Waller wins.
Oh, he's doing great, man. I'm so happy to see him. Just crushing it.
Life none. Okay, very good. So Justin's doing well. Let's switch over to because you're real good friends with Andrew and Tristan or Andrew and Tristan Tate.
I'm better friends. To be honest, I'd say I'm closer and better friends with Tristan.
Okay. So how? Sure, of course. I mean, you guys know each other. How are they doing? Like, can you give us any updates?
I can't really give you much updates, unfortunately, man. Sure. It's anytime I'm chatting with Tristan, I'm basically just cracking a joke.
That's how you get through it, right?
That's kind of I actually told this story the other day. It was kind of funny when they first got out of prison. Yep. Shit, that's like 2 years ago, almost now. Was it? Yeah, a year and a half. Like when they got because they're in prison for like 3-4 months or whatever. Yeah. When they first got out, like there's a degree of paranoia around like what they're doing. It's like, do they actually have their phones? Was like the thought that went through my head. Like, if I text them right now, is it actually going to be them checking the phone and texting me back, right? Or is it going to be like a cop with the phone and trying to like get some incriminating evidence out of me or something? I don't know. And so what I did was I texted him like an inside joke. I won't repeat it here. It's a bit rude. Yeah, it wouldn't get you kicked off. It's a bit rude, but I texted both an inside joke, and the response I got back from both of them was just like laughter. So I'm like, okay, I know it's them. Like, so that was kind of interesting. Like that, and that's a tip for anyone else. If you ever have someone in that kind of a situation, that's why inside jokes are important.
Listen, shout out to you for having the presence of mind to understand that, because I watched a documentary, and the guy's name was I think his name was Christian Dawkins, and the law. It's all about college basketball and coaches paying their players. And Christian Dawkins was sort of the middleman. He was sort of the broker. Well, the FBI got wind that he was involved, and so they lured him to Las Vegas, of all places. Soon as he got into a room, the FBI moved in on him. As soon as he said lawyer, he said people kicked down the door and guns were in his face. He said an FBI agent walked up with a spoofed phone. Like, he tried to call his dad, and his dad's phone was ringing. The FBI agent said, yeah, this is the FBI, this is Christian. So shout out to you for having the presence of mind that authorities can absolutely spoof somebody's phone. So the inside joke was a good way to know that was them and not the authorities.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. Clearly, absolutely.
To be fair, not that I've ever been in this kind of situation before.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're a good guy.
Thank you. Yeah, what else have I done? What else have I been up to? Launched a supplement line end of last year.
Yeah,
that's doing all right. Good. I'm actually part of the reason I'm doing kind of a tour right now is I'm actually I'm going to end up in New York for an affiliate conference. My first one of those.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I've got it's Affiliate Summit East in New York, and I'm going to be out there just schmoozing a bunch of people, trying to get charming people, trying to see if we can rustle up some business.
Supplement line, man.
Yeah. So we basically took my background in chemistry combined with literally what I used to take before a scene, and we formulated a bunch of stuff for guys in the bedroom. So basically, I have the range we currently have right now. We have a supplement for boner strength, which is based upon like improving your cardiovascular health, improving your nitric oxide production, all these fancy things, and that's designed to give you it's a full mast, shall we say?
Okay.
And it's literally based off the supplements I used to take before a scene. And then we have sex drive supplement. Again, this is all stuff I used to take. But basically, it's designed, the chemistry behind it is it's designed to reduce what's called prolactin in your brain. Okay. And prolactin is the thing that guys, when kills libido, also makes you gives you feminine characteristics too. If you have things like bitch tits and moodiness, irritability. If you have high prolactin as a guy, you can have all these feminine symptoms. But if you have lower prolactin, and there's no side effects to having low prolactin, by the way. If you have low prolactin, you have a very high sex drive. Okay. And you can also, even not with everybody, but in some cases, you can even become multi-orgasmic from having a low prolactin. So we've got video testimonials of guys who've taken it and they're doing like back-to-back rounds with their wife and stuff now. It's really cool, really cool. So we can all fuck like Sterling. I'm biohacking everybody, bro. It's great.
I love it.
We got those two. We got then we have that's wood is fantastically named. Fire is the sex drive one. Then we've got stud, which is basically a supplement designed to treat premature ejaculation.
Oh my god!
So we basically give you enough. We give you. I don't want to say modify your brain chemistry, but we're assisting your brain chemistry to remain more calm and relaxed and not be as excited, because that's kind of the mental and the chemical hormonal state you are in when you're prematurely ejaculating is one of overexcitation. Okay. Yeah. So in particular, things like glutamate, which the average American is probably consuming a lot of in the form of MSG, which is monosodium glutamate. Yes. So basically, any packaged foods, fast food, anything like that, you're going to be consuming glutamate. And that is going to that keeps your brain in somewhat of an anxious and excited state. And so we basically, so we help you reduce that, calm the brain a bit more. And guys are going for like 30 minutes, 60 minutes without any problem now. It's quite impressive, yeah.
Holy gosh.
So that's where we're at now with that, yeah. And then before the end of the year, we are going to come out with the next one we're coming out with is like a semen booster, basically. Yeah, precisely, yeah. It's not bad. You know what? We're actually we're not sure what to name it. Actually, that's actually funny. So some of the names we're looking at are seed, Okay, this is actually very good for me because actually in the chat, can you guys tell? Okay, I'm going to list out a bunch of names we're thinking of. Can you guys give me some, or give me some suggestions, or tell me which ones you like the most? I'm going to list out like the top four right now. So we've got Seed, Load.
Yes.
I'll give you 5.
Okay.
Nuts.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Ropes.
Oh, wow, that's a good one.
Or Volumax.
Wow, volume. I like, the volume. So the Volumax, it sounds a little gimmicky, right? Because there's all sorts of whatever. But I like the ropes. And by the way, for those of you who want to know what ropes means, when you ejaculate, it comes out, yeah, but then it keeps going. Ropes. Yeah. That's what that is. I do like Load. Guys, give us some suggestions. We got fireballs, we got jizzer size. We got jizzer size. That's great. I fucking love it. CHD with the $5 super chat says, shout out to Sterling Cooper. I work with Glenn Lawrence, and he showed a sneak peek of your interview with him. Love RP Thor Drakkar Vest 2. Excellent. Appreciate that, CHG. Yeah, I think jizzer size. We have Spider-Man. I don't really know.
You never heard that joke as a kid?
No.
That was a joke we used to say at school. Like you're fucking a chick from behind, and then.
Oh, I know.
Right here,
Yes. Okay, I got it. It takes. Man, I'm getting on up there. Yeah. I'm an idiot. I like nuts. Seed, nuts, Load. What was the fourth one? Ropes and Volumax. Wow.
That's like so. In the chat, drop a 1 for Seed.
Yes.
Drop a 2 for Load.
Yes.
Drop a 3 for Nuts.
Okay.
A 4 for Ropes, and a 5 for Volumax. I want to have a quick poll of.
Let's do it.
Look,
let's do it. Okay, so talk to me. So I don't want you to give away too much about your supplements, but pre-supplement line, what were the things you did pre-scene, pre-shooting to get prepared? Because I remember you and I in Miami, we were at MLD's thing, and I remember MLD says, raise your hand if you struggle with premature ejaculation. And I raised my hand, and you just stood there. And I was like, you motherfucker. You're like, well, I don't. Have you ever had problem with premature ejaculation, or was it something you had to train out of yourself?
So premature ejaculation was the one thing I didn't really have a problem with.
Okay.
And I had to that's actually the reason why that was probably one of the last things I started to teach guys. Okay. Because I've been doing this for 4 years. I was teaching guys like how to fix erectile dysfunction, how to fix performance anxiety, like nerves. I was teaching them how to get girls to orgasm, all that sort of stuff for years. And it was only in the last probably 18 months ago was when I started to really touch down on the premature ejaculation side of things, because I had to kind of reverse engineer myself. Oh. Because it was never really a problem. I had to reverse engineer I had to dive into the research of what exactly is going on in the body for guys when they're going through this, and what have I done accidentally without him really realizing to kind of fix this. And it was one of the big ones was not consuming very much MSG. That was a pretty big one. I realized that. Another really big one, and it's something any guy can do, is when I pee first thing in the morning, I force it out as fast as I possibly can. I think it was just a game I used to play as a kid. It was just I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just in a hurry, so I'm trying to get out of it. But what that actually does is that's actually technically what's called a reverse Kegel. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it relaxes the pelvic floor. It's a push down. Yeah. Because what happens is when guys have premature ejaculation, they usually all that area is usually quite tight. Yeah. Right. And so if it's and think about it, when you ejaculate, it's a spasming. It's tight.
The ropes.
Right. And if you're already tight, your body's kind of already in a primed position to ejaculate. It's already in a pre-ejaculatory state, so you need to actually train it to be more relaxed. Okay. And that's actually, so if any guys are struggling with that problem, try that tonight, or try that for the next week. Just in the first time, don't do it every time you pee because that's a bit too much. Sure. But first thing in the morning, just try to push it out as fast as you can. Do that every morning.
Listen, I've actually got a tip. Here's how to practice it. A lot of guys practice edging, and a secret to edging for a long time is the reverse Kegel. So when you feel yourself starting to get to the point of no return, do a reverse Kegel. You can actually reverse Kegel while you're having sex, and that will help you last longer. So let me ask you this: do you ever, whenever you're about to, have sex with your fiance, do you do the pre-porn rituals, or is it just more organic now?
Not anymore. Because it's not like I'm have to perform at like an extreme level anymore. Yeah, of course. And so, like, basically, all the exercises and things I was doing for years, I've kind of got a good foundation around it, So I'll still supplement with a lot of the same stuff. Sure. And it's good for you. Yeah, I'll supplement the stuff for like semen volume. I'll supplement with the stuff for testosterone. I'll supplement with the stuff for like, especially because I'm trying to get pregnant, right? So, so it makes sense. So I'm still supplementing with a lot of the same stuff. Okay. But it's just obviously not as. There's not as much of a pressure to perform as there was once, Of course. Yeah.
But I'm guessing that your lady is very happy.
She's not complaining.
Not complaining. I'll bet that was definitely a. So hold on, real quick here. Give me 1 second. So doom and gloom Prime Minister says just one mic. No, actually, I actually have 37 mics and 37 XLR cables, but I decided to do this the hard way just for fun. So that answers your question. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Seriously? Come on, guys. God damn. Let's see. Here we go. We got Buster Charge, the Prostate, the Competitive Edge, Spermzilla. Spermzilla! Oh, that is so funny. So let me ask you this, Sterling, because I'm gonna try to transition.
I'm gonna patent all of these names.
Oh, dude, we're going in, and I want to cut. When did you decide that the woman you were engaged to was wife material? Because again, American woman, I mean, what was the point of demarcation?
I'll just be clear that I'm not going to get like legally married. I'm going to get religious. We're going to get religiously married.
Good. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because that's the way it used to
we will. Yeah. And this is an argument. This is a conversation I'm going to have with her father, which will be very fun. But it's especially because he's a lawyer. It's going to be even more fun.
Oh my God, Sterling.
But no, I like a challenge. But I think here's my ultimate I think any argument around and I get that he's a father and he wants to have he wants to protect his daughter. Exactly, you want the same thing for your daughter. However, if you actually look at because I've got a friend who specializes in what's it called, forensic accounting.
I've heard of that.
So a forensic accountant, I'm actually going to have him on my show. He's very interesting. So a forensic accountant, you'd really like him on your show after you hear what he does. His job is to, with ultra high net worth divorces, he gets hired by the woman to find the husband's hidden cash, basically, to find all his foreign bank accounts, to find all his stocks, his Bitcoin. It's his job to he says, I only make this much money. It's his job to find the rest of it. Yeah. Okay. Super interesting. Okay. Basically, he was. I was having a chat with him, and he's like, "Look, it doesn't. Here's the thing. In America, especially, even if you are cohabitating, you're still going to be paying child support and stuff, sure, even irrespective of if you're married. So it doesn't even matter.
If you have a child with someone, that's it.
It doesn't matter
whether you're married or not. You got to right.
It doesn't matter. So irrespective of having a legally signed contract, I'm still going to be tied to her financially under the law anyway. Right. So my whole argument is simply a moral one. It's I don't agree that the government should have a right to interfere with my private life like that. So fuck it. And it's a religious ceremony anyway. Yeah, right. So what the fuck does that have to do with it?
Separation of church and state.
Exactly. And more to the point, it's the ultimate argument really is, do you believe that the government should put a gun to my head? Because follow my logic here, right? Okay, let's say I don't let's say we divorce and I say and you want a certain amount, she wants a certain amount of alimony, or let's say we were legally married or whatever, right? Okay. And then the state says you owe this much alimony, and I say fuck you, no. Right. What's going to happen? Okay, they're going to send cops around. Okay. And what if I resist? Then they're going to if I resist that, if you just follow the chain of me saying fuck you and saying no, eventually what does it end in? It ends in them putting a gun to my head.
Yeah, right.
Eventually, literally, quite literally, putting a gun to your head. So, like the ultimate argument, and that's the same with basically with any law, by the way. It's any law ends in that. That's what the police are. Police are state enforced violence. So, if the ultimate question is then, does she or does her dad think that it's okay for the government to put a gun to my head?
Okay.
And the answer to that is a yes, then I believe that they're in the wrong.
Right.
So that's kind of that's always been my argument against state legalized marriage, is that and the fact that it's a religious ceremony, so get the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. This is exactly what I did with my marriage. Our red-headed friend who is no longer relevant. The one thing that I learned from him that actually has served me well was the idea of the private marriage. But the interesting thing is, Sterling, is the private marriage is nothing new. The private marriage is just the religious marriage it's just a religious marriage without the religion part. Does that make sense? Like, there's no minister, there's no nothing. You just kind of declare to the world, okay, we are now man and wife. You put the ring on your finger, et cetera, et cetera. So, and again, this is going to be, my guess is that it's going to be quite, I don't want to say contentious, but her dad is probably going to push back. He might even fight you on this. Yeah, of course he's going to, as any good father would. So what are you going to, and he's a lawyer, so obviously he can debate. But at the end of the day, Sterling, he can't force you to sign anything you don't want to sign. So at the end, there you go. So are you going to tell him, hey, look, I love your daughter, tough shit, dude?
I would put it a bit nicer than that.
Sure, that's essentially what you'd be saying.
Yeah, but I would respectfully explain the reasons why. Like basically, they're very similar to the argument I just explained to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll follow through with it. Any more cool names?
Okay, so we've got. Here we go. So we've got the Penile River, the Penile River. We've got floodgates. Oh my God. Oh, this is too funny. W. Sterling, MB, I swear they have the same voice actor. W. Troy. They think Troy Francis is British, Sterling is Australian. Why do people think that you are... Now, I'm sure you probably get confused with being from New Zealand because the accent is very similar. Is the accent similar?
Not to me.
Okay, so as someone who's Australian, what are some of the differences between an Australian and a Kiwi?
The way we say fish and chips. If you want to tell if someone's Australian or a Kiwi, you ask them to say fish and chips.
So how do Kiwis say?
I say fish and chips. Mm-hmm. A Kiwi would say fosh and chops. They say it retarded like that.
That's a shot at the game. You know what? It's funny. A lot of times, this sounds like the Latino wars, right? Like if you ever date a Puerto Rican and you say, "What are you, Dominican?" Dude, she'll fucking kill you. So is it the same thing with Aussies and Kiwis? It's like, "Hey, are you from New Zealand? What the fuck are you talking about?"
We don't get super pissed off about it. It's more of a fun banter. I would get pissed off if someone thought I was South African though, and I've had Americans think I'm South African. Yeah, South Africans. It's much more of like a sports rivalry than anything else.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no real sports rivalry between Australia and New Zealand because we just beat them at everything.
Yeah, of course.
It's like we kind of take pity on them. So it's kind of like you and Canadians. You take pity on them. Except for hockey. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. It's like, okay, like the way that Americans can't tell the difference between like my accent and versus an New Zealand accent, or maybe a British or whatever, is the same way that I can't really tell the difference between like, I don't know, like a Midwestern accent and like a Californian accent, maybe.
Wow. Because
I don't know where your accent's from.
I don't really have an accent.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. And the reason why is because I'm a military kid, and I lived all over, and my parents were very, very. They were adamant in they didn't do a lot of things right with me. One of the few things they did right with me was they made sure that I spoke proper English. And so when people ask me where I'm from, well, my family lives in Philadelphia, but I've lived as a kid, I've lived in New Jersey, Washington, I've lived in Hawaii twice, Texas, Oklahoma, California, Minnesota. I've lived everywhere. And so but being an American and living all those places, I know the difference between accents. For example, people who live in Minnesota tend to sound like this, very similar to the Canadian accent, eh? Or if you're from down south, you tend to sound like this, or if you're from up north, you sound like this. But Well, well, thank you. I'll be here all week. It's almost like over and under, right? Southerners say "maul" and Northerners say "mwall." You know, and it's very easy for me to distinguish the accent, but it's not easy for me to distinguish the accent between Aussies and Kiwis. How about that? Yeah. Okay, so you've got a date with Rollo Tomasi. Sorry to the missus out there. Rollo Tomasi is Sterling's man. We got a little bit of time. Okay, all right, cool. We'll go another 30 minutes then. So
let's specify. I'm playing golf.
Well, yes, it's a golf date. An action date. Very good. Okay, very good. So this is an action. So this is going to be an open marriage, so to speak. All right, very good. Shout out to the Mr. and Mrs. Rollo Tomasi Cooper. Okay. So let's go back. What about, because I'm fascinated by the fact that you were freaking engaged. What about this girl made you want to lock her down?
There's a few things. Like I said, I had this very strict list of criteria I was looking for. She off rip, she kind of met a bunch of them. Okay. Things like being, like I said before, like being unvaxxed, being anti-vax, being very very right wing, being highly intelligent. A giant green flag, I'd say. Sorry. Okay. She had early on was that she enrolled in college, went for like a few weeks, and got into an argument on like the first day with like the orientation counselor who was telling all the girls that they would get like raped by the boys. She like stood up and argued with it. She was telling me the story. It was fucking like, I was like in the back of my mind like, yes.
That's it.
That was massive. And then
with the hashtag #MeToo counselor.
Yeah.
Put a ring on.
And then she like basically after that she's like she quit college and unenrolled. Yeah, so she thinks college is a scam. I'm like, excellent. This is fantastic.
So
she's a pro-Trumper. That was pretty cool. And even back then, she would show me some like old Facebook posts of hers, and they were like super like anti-woke, and this is when she was like 18. I was like, damn. Okay. So she's been pretty switched on for a while. She's obviously, like I said, she's highly intelligent. Her family's highly intelligent. Twins run in her family, which is badass. It means I can get 2 for 1 every time I have a baby.
Ooh, there you go. Oh my God,
she got
and she only has to go through that once and push out 2. There you go.
Because babies take a long time, like 9 months. And I'm like, I want a lot of kids. So if I can get 2, if I can get 2 for 1 at a time, fantastic. I'm quite pragmatic with this kind of stuff. There was height runs in her family. Okay. So like her brother's really tall. Her mother's siblings are really tall. So like. She's not like, she's a girl, so she's not taller than me, but
sure, but she's got the genetic.
Yeah, the genes, and I've got the like my brother's taller than me and stuff. So like, I think both of our kids will be massive, which is fucking awesome. Yeah, she's actually the same like kind of mix as I am. She's like English, Irish, German. So am I. Yeah, there was like all I saw a lot of green flags like that. Yeah. And I think the big thing was every time I kept looking for a red flag, like because I would push it. I was like I'm trying to find the red flag. She just kept like showing me a green one. I was like, interesting. Right. That's pretty interesting. Good.
And let me ask you this: a lot of
I shouldn't be saying this if she's watching them.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, you're giving her the playbook, but that actually segues to this question. We know that women are expert actresses, right? And I remember obviously we're all familiar with the movie Top Gun, the first Top Gun. And I remember Maverick says, yeah, you can't think up there because if you think, you're dead. And I relate that to what Ray Lewis says, the difference between a good defense and a great defense. A good defense gets to the football, right? A good defense makes good decisions. A great defense just reacts. It's just instinct. And so when you were quizzing her, when you were squeezing her, did you ever get the idea that she was thinking, or did she just react? As in, this really is the way she is, and she's not just being an actress.
Yeah, she didn't really have time to think.
Oh, okay, very good.
It's not like it's something I'm doing like via text, like out of It was always stuff that I was doing in the moment or in front of her, and I would push her out of her comfort zone a bit because she'd like never left America.
Right.
Young. She was only 24. Okay. So like, I took her to Australia. I took her overseas. And kind of would kind of throw her in challenging situations, what I would consider to be like socially challenging situations, like around friends and like around my group of friends, around like putting her, she'd never traveled before.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and she handled obviously it was putting her in a stressful situation and seeing how she reacts is pretty important.
Devin does not handle stress very well. She does not handle stress well at all. I can admit that, but that's what I'm here for. We got questions in the chat. Donald J. DeMarco. Interesting. He says, is that one of many engagements for Sterling? I think he was planning to do that compound thing.
Yeah, not really anymore, to be honest. It's yeah, I can't really give a good answer as to why not. I just sort of to be fair, the compound thing was always like the idea of multiple wives was literally just to get lots of kids.
Yeah, sure.
And now I've got a girl who can give me 2 at a time. That kind of takes care of the problem.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it's like I said, I'm very pragmatic, so it was more of a pragmatic thing. Is that I wanted to have a ton of kids, and she's down for it. She's much younger than me. She's like, she's 24. Like, she's got this time. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely.
I've got time, and I can get two at a go. And she's on board. And the other big thing is she's on board with that idea. She's on board with the number. It took a bit of finessing. Like it took a bit of I keep saying 10.
Wow.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What's she gonna do if she's not gonna stop?
She's not gonna tell you no.
Yeah, she's not gonna stop me from nutting in her.
Right. You're just gonna get 10 kids.
And I don't mean that in a sense that I'm gonna force it on her. I mean it in the sense that she wants it all the time.
Yeah, sure.
Like so, yeah. I mean, it's like okay, like oh no, I only want like 7. Like,
sure.
Whoops, it just came in you again. Like okay, like I'll just keep tracking your period and know when you're gonna come. When times.
I have a hack for you. Have you ever seen these couples that have like 8 kids at a time? Like they take like these fertility drugs and they pop out like 5, 6, 7, 8 kids like fertility drugs. Have you ever considered that?
I've heard of that. It's Are you talking about Clomid?
I guess.
I've heard about that. If women take Clomid, because Clomid is something that guys can take.
Off of TRT.
Yeah, exactly. Guys can take it when they get off TRT to increase their fertility. If women take it, it increases their chances of having a twin. And or more, like you just said.
So is that a route that is that a route you'd be willing to take, or?
I think I'd rather do it naturally to start with. Yeah, I mean at least for the first few, and then if we get in a hurry, I'll just get her on the Clomid and we'll have 4 at a time.
Hey, listen, Mrs. Cooper, you are in for a long you are in for a long 5 years. Supreme Cobra Commander says, Sterling, I have always wanted to ask, any tips you have for taking pictures for IG or IG is fire? I wanted to ask you the same thing.
I can give a ton of great advice. Okay. It's a very good question. So first of all, find somebody who is can actually take a decent photo and has a good quality camera. Knows it's easier to get good photos outside during the daytime in like at the sunset. Sunset is like the best like lighting. It's called golden hour or whatever. So someone like
golden hour, not golden shower.
Yeah. So that time of day, obviously, yeah, get someone with a good camera. If it's a friend, or you can literally go to like I think actually if you go onto Airbnb, they have a. If you go to Airbnb, I believe it's Airbnb. They have a separate section which is like activities, and in the activities section you can actually find someone to be like you can find photographers. So you can go, I'm pretty sure it's Airbnb. I'm sure it's Airbnb. You can go like so. There's the activity section has like touristy shit to do as well, but like tour guides or whatever. But there's also people who will take photos of you at the locations in that city. So you can travel to a cool place, find one of these people, have them take you around the city, getting badass photos, right? But so that's an easy solution when it comes if you don't have someone who's a photographer or whatever. Okay. In terms of getting a good photo, though, I personally think it's really good when you've got like a very colorful or there's like a background behind you and the background's out of focus. Yeah. I find that makes photos really good. But the hardest part about getting good photos is like the posing and stuff. Now I know how to pose. My friend Justin knows how to pose. Yes, he does. Yes, he's better at it than I am. But the thing is, most people don't know how to pose. If you're asking that question, you probably don't know how to pose. And and I see this all the time. Guys who try to pose, like looking like a tough guy, and they just look awkward and weird. You can tell they're trying. Exactly. That's precisely it. You can tell I can tell you're trying. See, the art of it is to make it. You have to make it look natural and real. So. The solution to that, though, unless you want to spend hours and hours learning and practicing posing, That is one option. The quicker option is to just get a bunch of you and a bunch of friends together who you actually like. You guys generally enjoy hanging around each other. And you have a great time, and then have a photographer follow you around all day and just take photos of you without you even knowing. Because you'll get the best photos you can possibly ever imagine when you're candidly laughing or joking around or listening or talking to one another. That's when you'll get the best photos. Is when you're candidly caught in the moment, and you don't even know the photographer's. Bingo. You don't even know the camera guy's there, and that's a good camera guy if he's just in the bushes somewhere and like snapping you. And you don't even know he's there. That's a good camera. That is the key to getting really, really good snaps. Is that yeah? What else would I have for that? I mean, a few like minor details. If you're like short, don't get photos with taller people.
I see. I've never thought about that.
You're tall.
Right, of course. Well, for you, like you look at me.
Well, you're taller than me.
You've got to be like 5.
I'm 6. I'm 6 foot exactly.
I'm 6'2", man. It's weird because I always thought that you were as tall as me because I look you right in the eye, but it just I don't know. It's a tall thing.
I've got good eye contact then.
Yes, very good eye contact. Very good. But to be honest with you, I wish I was as blessed as you below the belt. But that remains to be seen.
My dick's black on the inside.
So is mine. Is Mr. Oh boy. So Doom and Gloom Prime Minister says, is Mr. Cooper excited for the United States to have the first black female president, Kamala 2024? Oh boy.
I might re-immigrate back to Australia.
There you go. Here's another question. What does he mean by 2 at a time?
Twins.
Yes.
That's what I mean. I mean, you can have twins, so they'll get 2 at a time.
Okay, very good. Boy, these are all very good questions. Dude says, "Yep, I'm 5'5". Supreme Clipper Commander says, "Yes, the posing and context of the photo is where the art is." Bobby Trama says, "Some people say social proof is good. Others say it's trying too hard. What say you, Sterling?"
That's a very good question. In pictures. Yeah, that's a very good question. So the guys do it wrong. Because they'll guys get that cheesy photo of like them standing there with their arm around 2 obvious promo girls, but they're obviously promo girls. They're obviously paid to be there. That's and like girls know that. So there's no social proof associated with it. It's better if you genuinely have female friends, attractive ones, and you're again. Get the photographer to hide in the bushes while you're just interacting and chat. If you're chatting, talking shit, and having a great time, and you're talking, here's the ultimate photo, right? You're talking. Imagine photographers in the bushes over here. I'm talking. There's 2 girls here laughing, and one of them is touching you, but she's looking at you and laughing, and you're like, the fuck? That's bang. That's the golden shot. Right. But that's how you do social proof photos properly. But it has to be caught in the moment.
Right, and I like that. I like that you talked about the difference between understanding real social proof and paid social proof because when you pay girls to be there, they might. I mean, you've got the arms around them and everything like that, but and guys might be impressed, but you're not trying to impress guys. You're trying to impress girls, and girls are hyper aware of the difference between real and fake social proof. Wow, very, very good intel. By the way, shout out to James M., who has just purchased a ticket to the 4th Annual Conference of Masculine Excellence going down in Lake Tahoe, October 24th through 27th. What we're doing this year.
I get your emails, I saw.
Yes. Oh, very good. Hey, the emails are working. Yeah, we're doing. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be in Lake Tahoe. It's going to be less conference, more adventure. So shout out to James M. We're very much looking forward to seeing you out there. Tahoe is it, dude. It is life changing. It is life changing. Does Mr. Cooper have any soccer experience? And what's the biggest sport in Australia?
No, I played one game when I was a kid. That was it. We thrashed the other team. We were pretty good. In Australia, the most popular sports are Australian rules football, which no American has a clue what that is. It's based off of Irish. It's not rugby. It's not rugby. We play rugby as well. It's very different. Rugby is more like American football. Okay. Australian rules football is evolved from Irish Gaelic football. Which you've probably never seen either. So it's fucking hard to explain. Yeah, it's an easier. It's way easier just to go onto YouTube after you're done watching Donovan's stream. To go onto YouTube and search for Australian rules football highlights, and then you'll see the sport. It's not because the way to think about it, right, is like rugby and AF and like a NFL are played in like two lines, kind of coming at each other. You know, Australian rules football is like 365 degrees. So like people can you can get tackled from behind, from anywhere. Like you can run anywhere, you can pass anywhere. Like you pass forwards and backwards. Like rugby, you can only pass backwards. You know what I'm saying? So there's no like protective gear and it's full contact. So it's pretty violent. It's actually badass. That's the most popular sport in Australia, and then cricket is behind that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cricket. I know cricket is the most popular sport in India.
The Indian Premier League, which is their like version, their kind of exciting version of cricket, bro. That's a $multi-$1 event, like sporting event. Yeah.
Well, there are a billion people in India, right?
Think about it, because you got billions of people. Like not billion. I mean, is it billion? Is it billion?
Of people.
Is it billions? It's close. It's close.
Yeah, it's about a billion people.
Yeah, and they all are fanatical about cricket. Like Australia. So if you have Australian professional cricket players going and playing in the Indian Premier League, are getting like 10. Yeah, getting like $10 million contracts and stuff.
Yeah. So I remember. So am I wrong? Is Ricky Ponting Australian? Okay. Yeah. And I know that and the only reason I know this guy is because he's probably the most famous Indian cricket player by the name of Sachin Tendulkar. Yeah. Fucking legend. Yeah. Sachin was the best. Yes. Yeah, dude, he's the type of dude, if he ever got married and divorced, he would probably hire your forensics. Yeah, because that dude's got money. Yeah, that's the dude with money. Donald J. DeMarco says Australian rules football means you can use Mick Dundee's knife on opponents. Well, not quite, but just about. Let me ask you this as we round third and head for home here. How is baseball reference? Yes. There you go. Very nice. See? Hey, there you go. See, the Aussies know.
I'm integrating.
Yes, we're integrating. Yes. Hashtag Kamala Harris, right? I'll give you my answer next. How is your life? How do you think your life will change after you get married and start having children? What's next for Sterling when he starts having kids? I mean, are we still going to be traveling? Are we still going to be a content creator? How does that work?
I think I'll definitely still be a content creator. The goal is like a homestead and a farm and all that kind of stuff. That's been my goal for a few years.
You told me about that.
So so that's basically like it'll like I haven't been able to like execute on the land and the location yet because I wanted to get the wife first because that's easier.
Yes.
That's way it's easier. Like it's hard. It's harder to get like if I bought a bunch of land and I was stuck to one location and I'm like, who wants to come live here? That's much harder than like getting the wife first and be like, all right, we're gonna go here and she's on board with that stuff. Right. So
that's interesting. Because that now boys and girls, that was some intel. If you are looking for a wife and you have sort of a goal in terms of where you want to live and what acreage you want to live, don't get the land and acreage first because then you have to sort of convince the wife to come live with you. Instead, go get the wife and then tell her where you're going, and she's not going to say no, especially when you're Sterling Cooper who has a black dick on the inside, right? She's like, I'll go wherever you want.
Well, but it's also more like it's a bit of a shit test for her in a way.
Sure.
Is like okay, like I mean, it's unique to my situation, but I'm obviously the perception is that I live this sort of jet setting lifestyle.
Okay.
And it's like okay, we're gonna not do this and we're gonna go live on a farm. It's kind of like do you really love me?
Absolutely.
And it's not that I'm not gonna we're never gonna leave the farm, right? But but to answer your question, I think it's just gonna be like the content creation where I start. I'll like have a fucking have a study and in fact the quality of the content will probably get much better because I'll have a dedicated like study with like leather bound books and shit behind me. I can already see. I've already got a vision for what it'll look like. So.
Okay.
And I'll probably be my intention is to try and convince all of you to homestead is actually my intention. I'm gonna attempt to make homesteading look sexy.
Okay, sexy homesteading.
And
I like it.
you know, and I'll be using that to preach like the benefits of like raw milk and pasture raised eggs, and you know, because I can incorporate the diet and the lifestyle benefits into, you know, how they affect your hormonal health, your testosterone health, your sexual health, and all this sort of stuff. So I intend to migrate the two together.
And I don't believe there's anybody that I know of that is doing that. And if there are, they certainly don't have the fan base that you do, as far as I'm concerned.
There's actually a lot of dudes who, I don't even know who. Is it? Who wrote the book? I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. You remember that? What? I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. I will look that up. Is it Mark Manson? Mark Manson. That's him. Is it him or is it someone else? No, it's Tucker. It's Tucker Max.
Oh, okay. Yep, there it is. Yep, Tucker Max. You got it.
So Tucker Max was this like that book is about him being a giant playboy, basically. Yeah, right. And now he sort of gave that lifestyle up a while ago, and he got married and had kids and stuff, and he's doing that. Like he's quite well off, and he's already ahead of me doing the homesteading kind of thing. There's actually a few people like I've heard. I'm not the only one who's considered this. I've heard through the grapevine quite a lot of very people who've like made their money and kind of got out of an industry or got out of like their or sold a business or whatever. A lot of people are heading down the homesteading route.
You know, it's interesting. I think you are, and I think the natural evolution of red pill content creators, and we've all been through it. We and it's interesting when we all first come to the red pill, we're all players. We're all fucking a bunch of girls, or we have a girlfriend and we're still fucking a bunch of girls. But at some point, there comes a time in our lives where we're just ready to settle the fuck down. You know what I mean? And it appears that it's almost like, to be honest with you, Sterling, it's almost what you have done and are about to do is the equivalent of a girl getting ran through, nobody knowing about it, and marrying a rich guy. She is satisfying both sides of her hypergamy. So, Sterling Cooper, you are here, like you are satisfying both sides of... Now, listen, there's no such thing as male hypergamy or hypogamy or whatever you want to call it. And I know you're a chemistry guy, so I know you understand hypertonic, right? Of course, yeah. For boys and... Yeah, so there you go. See, that's a nerd. We're nerding out over here. But it's very interesting how every single one of us, without exception, the older we get, the more we tend to settle down. And I think the red pill message is, I think it's ever evolving, but I think guys have to know listen, there are some guys who can be Andrew Tate for the rest of their lives. And there's maybe two people that can do that, Andrew and Tristan, and maybe even Justin, but for the rest of, probably you too, but for the rest of us, at some point, we just want to settle down and just, and have a wife and just live a good life and go from there.
Well, what else I'll add to that is like, well, you know, you got to remember that Andrew and Tristan and Justin all have kids.
Yes.
And I think, and that's, and I have wanted kids for quite a while.
Right.
And for me, personally, I think a lot of guys will probably resonate with this, is that the purpose of learning like red pill and stuff like that is so that you can find a woman who is worthy of being a mother. Right. So you can actually have choice.
Okay.
Because I mean, half the guys that come into the red pill space, they come into it because they got divorce screwed.
Yeah, right.
Or they got the kids, they got the kids taken away from, or whatever, right? And so that's a warning for all the younger guys, or the other guys who haven't made that mistake yet. We better learn female nature. We better learn how to understand, you know, sexual dynamics like that, so that we can avoid that mistake, so we can set ourselves up to win. And that's kind of the way I've always looked at it. And it's like, okay, great. Now like sleeping around and having sex like that is fun, whatever, cool. Sure. But it's, I think a lot of guys will probably make the mistake in thinking that like maybe what I'm doing is like, you know, I'm quitting, or I'm like,
yeah,
you know,
right.
But you've got to remember that like I can't turn like, it doesn't mean I get to now stop all the stuff that I like. Right. Like the attraction has to keep going.
Yes, of course.
And if anything, it's actually harder.
Yeah.
Because I have to maintain the attraction for like 18, 20 years. Right. With, you know, like I'm in phase 2 of the game, if that makes sense, right? Yes, that's kind of a different way to look at it, right? Because I think a lot of guys can look at that scenario that I'm in right now, and as like, you know, quitting or getting out, you know, and I think that's kind of a defeatist way to look at it personally. But
wow, dude, he is Sterling Cooper, guys. We've got a Bobby Trama with a $2 super chat says, "W stream, fellas. Supreme Cobra Commander says, I am religious. I am not banging girls knowing the red pill, but I avoided 3 lifelong disasters because of guys like you, much appreciated gentlemen. Holy smokes. Sterling, any final thoughts? This was a fantastic podcast, as they are with you. Any final thoughts before we hang this thing up, man?
Look, yeah. Keep utilize the information that Donovan teaches you guys. Utilize the information that all the other guys, all the other creators in this space teach you. I think it's ultimately about allowing yourself to have better options.
Also, just so you guys know, we're going to put links to all your supplements, but we're going to make sure we do it in a careful way. So we've got wood, fire, stud, and possibly nut. Yeah, whatever you guys came up with. And listen, in the chat, in the comments, keep them coming. I will pass them along to Sterling. Sterling, my friend, it is good to see you again, man. Thank you for making time for us. That's going to do it for this edition of TSR. I don't know, prime time in Las Vegas in a condo that may or may not have shot porn in it. I don't know. This is how we do it here. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon.